What you got there, Phil? This is the Irix 30mm T1.5 full frame Cine Lens. It's what you can see on the camera right there. It's pretty damn cool. Whew. That thing is it gets hot. I don't know how long I could wear that for. The lens you're looking at is a budget Cine Lens. Now, when I say budget, I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean affordable. Because you take this lens out of the box, you're like, ho, 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 that is serious. You know, it weighs 1.2 kilograms. It is a serious amount of metal and glass. In fact, the glass is so serious that it's 8K UHD optics. It's that serious. The lens is it's magnificent, magnificent. It's absolutely fantastic, you know. And I love the creamy out of focus. I mean, it's really, really beautiful for a 30mm lens. It's going to be one of my favorite focal lengths ever. It means you can take portraits, you can take cityscapes, landscapes, you can basically film everything on this one lens. That's why I chose this when Irix said, which lens do you want? I'm saying 30mm because, you know, it's so diverse in what it can do. $1,200 is an excellent price for a Cine Lens, especially one that's so well built. You get a rear lens cap, a front cap, which is flat, so you can set the camera down. It's got a nice, you know, 30 T1.5 Irix Cine. You get a sun hood and you get a lens support, which you can mount on top or on the bottom of the lens, which is great. And if you want, you can pick up filters for it from Irix, which are called the Irix Edge filters. Now, these are great because they're magnetic. So on the front, you have 95mm, like a big, big hole. And that's it. That's all you do. And the magnet is ridiculously strong. This is a VND, so it goes down to 5 stops. So we can really make things dark where you can almost not see me. And I've been running and gunning with this lens for about half a year, and I really love it. You need a filter if you're looking to go into cinematography, because otherwise you can't adhere to the 180 rule, which means that if you're filming at 25 frames, you need to be at 1/50th. Remember that. So pick up one of these because they're really cool, and if you don't, you can get an 86mm threaded filter. I prefer these though because they work fast and easy. Now, as the front of it has 95mm, the hole, it means it can work with Cine accessories like a matte box. I have a cheapo one from Small Rig, and you can basically just stick it on. And when it's on, you can use it, and you don't have to use any adapters, any of that stuff. So that makes life much simpler. It has a 180-degree focus throw on it. So if you're pulling focus by hand, it's gonna be hard. I did that with my friend Agata out there, in which let me just show you a really short sequence of this lens at T1.5, me pulling focus with my hand just outside here in Wood. As you can see, it's cool because she goes in and out of focus, but that was not easy. If I did it at 2.8 or a T4, it would have been a lot easier. Phil, what the hell is a T? Well, a T-stop is for filmmakers, an F-stop is for photography lenses, you know, so the F-stop is how large and small the aperture is, whereas a T-stop is how much light, you know, the measurement of how much light goes through the lens and hits the actual sensor. They're very comparable, so T1.5 will be similar to a f1.5 or an f1.6. You don't have to worry about, you know, the conversion. As you can see at T1.5, what we're filming at the moment, it's got a really nice in and out of focus, and I do love what's going on with the background. I put on some light, especially for you guys, so you can see what it looks like when it is out of focus. I have a tube up here just to light my funny face, and I'm hoping that I'm in focus, because if I move back and forth, you can see the trouble I had filming Agatha at T1.5. Now, the actual focus on the follow focus has a notch that you can turn, so if your follow focus gear is quite thick, you can turn it so it fits in perfectly. You can also use the aperture with a follow focus, so if you're in a dark room and you're at T1.5 and you're going to a light room with lots of windows, you can close the aperture down all the way down to T16 really smoothly, and your audience won't even realize. So you have that option because the aperture has a focus, well, I would call it a focus ring, but it's got focus gears or aperture gears. That's really great. 1.2 kilos. 1.2 kilos, that's how much this weighs. Whereas, you know, like a Viltrox is probably about 400 grams. So 1.2 kilos is a lot for a lens. I did stick it on the DJI RS3 Mini, which has a max payload of 2 kilos. So with the Sony a7S III and the Irix 30mm, it was maxed out fully. You can check the video right here. It's still very smooth and it does a really good job. I do like that the lens is heavy, and you're going to be like, Phil, it's a heavy lens. What do I need a heavy lens for? Well, if you're filmmaking, if you're going into cinematography, you need a heavy lens because it adds stability. A lot of film cameras don't have IBIS, so in-body image stabilization. You know, you don't have that in the film world, like you don't have autofocus. Everything's going to be controlled, you know, and the heavier your setup, the better, because it adds stabilization. It's like a natural stabilization. I have a rig down here. Let me pick it up. It's from Cine, a Polish company, much like Irix, by the way, where I have like a V-mount at the back, a small one, sure, Newell, also Polish, and I have focus right here. So this is from Tilta. I have my Ninja right here, and you know, this is quite a heavy setup. When you put on the camera, you put on the lens, it's a heavy setup, and filming with it makes you feel like a real filmmaker, you know? You're not running around doing this. You feel like a real filmmaker holding a rig, and it changes your mindset when you're filming, especially when you're filming somebody. Let me just push this back a little bit. It changes your mindset. It makes you feel like what you're doing has a different meaning. You know, I'm constantly checking my focus, so you guys aren't pissed off that I'm talking like here or here and completely out of focus, but I should be in focus right about here. The lens comes in a whole load of different mounts. So you've got your Sony, you've got your Canon, you've got PL, you've got a whole load of mounts to choose from. And the cool thing is that the focus gears and the aperture gears are in exactly the same place across the board on the Irix Cine lenses. So if you buy another one, you're changing lenses, you put on a new lens, you don't have to waste time putting the the follow focus in a different position. That's a great thing that Irix have done there. I'm not sure about the weight. I think they weigh slightly different, but the actual follow focus will be in the same place no matter what lens you have. 180 degrees is cool for the follow focus throw, and you've got 75 on the aperture, the gears. You don't have to move your follow focus anywhere. The lens is weather sealed, so the gasket at the back, the rubber gasket, is so thick, it's like a Wellington. I mean, you're not going to get any problems with moisture or water getting in there. As for the optics, 8K Ultra HD just means that it's got the resolution to, you know, to be future-proofed. The new cameras that are going to be coming out, you know, 8K and 12K, whatever's going to be happening, it's going to be 8K Ultra HD future-proofed. So the resolution of the optics in there are very, very high class. Now it does have 11 aperture blades, so the out of focus is really nice. I mean, we're at T1.5 at the moment, and just the out of focus, it's, for me, it's creamy, it's delicious, it looks very cinematic. I'm gonna say it, I don't throw that around too much, but it is very cinematic. What do I really think of the Irix lens? Well, if you're a beginner filmmaker and you want to get into filmmaking, you want to be, you know, you want to be serious about what you're doing, $1,200 is an excellent price, and I would splash out and I would get the Irix 30mm as a first lens. 24 may be a little bit too wide for portraits. 50 is a little bit, you know, it's a little bit too close, but a 30mm is, for me, it's the perfect focal length for getting basically everything. Later on, you can add to it. You know, the 150mm is also beautiful, but you can add to it. Now, Phil, what about focus breathing? Well, let's have a look at that. Not too bad, huh? They call it ultra-low focus breathing. It really annoys me when a cinematographer chooses a lens that's got a lot of focus breathing because it takes your attention away from the story. A cinematographer is meant to be invisible, so is his work. The second your attention is brought to the technical side of what he's doing, you're like, ah, so they're filming a film, huh? The ultra-low focus breathing is fantastic. In fact, every single thing about this lens is perfect, in my opinion. You know, it really is a fantastic, very affordable 30mm 1.5 T1.5 Cine Lens, full frame. You know, it ticks all the boxes for me. If you have any questions about this lens, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. If you haven't liked my film, make sure you do. There are going to be links down below. Sending out a lot of love to all you people out there. And thanks, Irix, for this lens. Love it. Absolutely love it. I'll finish with this, okay? I bought this from an Italian shop, a collector shop, because this was not available in Europe anywhere. This is like the original one from Star Wars, because they made like a completely different one that you can get everywhere, but this one, not available anywhere. I'm going to catch you guys soon, and yeah, I hope you like my video.